Hey guys, and welcome back to Your One Room Schoolhouse. If you're new here, my name is Mary Barfield, and I'm a homeschooling mom to a kindergartner and a second grader. And before I get into the topic of this video, I have a really exciting announcement. As of last week, I hit 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I am just blown away, y'all. Like the fact that even 5,000 of y'all would want to watch my videos and listen to me drone on about homeschooling. It leaves me speechless and so grateful. And since none of that would be possible without you guys, I want to give back to you homeschooling mamas. So I am going to do a giveaway on my channel for reaching 5,000 subscribers as a thank you to you all for watching my videos and liking and subscribing and doing all the amazing things you do and having wonderful conversations with me in the comments and even in my email inbox. So I thought about what would be the best gift for y'all, and I landed on an Amazon gift card of $50. I figured that would probably be the best gift depending on what your interests are. You can use it to buy curriculum, because let's be honest, homeschooling can get expensive, so you can use it to buy something off Amazon, books, something for your homeschool room, or buy yourself a piece of clothing. Buy yourself something, because you know what, us mamas work really hard to be homeschooling parents, so treat yourself if that's what you need and what makes the most sense. But how you can enter is make sure you are subscribed to my channel, like this video, and then leave a comment down below about how you found my channel. I really love hearing about how you guys came upon my channel. What made you subscribe? Was it a certain video? Did your friend tell you about me? Any of that. I just love to kind of hear how it all kind of came about. So again, just a reminder, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, hit that like button on this video, and then comment below, and then I'll use a random generator this Saturday. I cannot remember the exact date. I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'm going to leave it down here below so you guys know exactly what day I'm going to pick the winner. I'm going to use a random generator from the comments, and I'm going to pick somebody, and you will be announced in the comments of this video. And I'll also re-announce it in my next video just to make sure the person doesn't forget to go back and check the video, but I'll leave it down in the comments of this video. I'll come back, post a comment, and say, hey, X person won. And then I'll also re-announce it in the next video if I haven't been contacted by you at that point. So thank you so much. Literally, that's all I can say is, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are wonderful. I love this little community that we built here, and I just can't say enough good things. And so I just want to give a little something back to y'all. All right, now that we've talked about the giveaway, let's get into the topic of this video for today. It is our Term 2 update for our homeschool, and we've had a really good term, y'all. If you're new here, we kind of lean towards more of a Charlotte Mason philosophy in our homeschool, so we divide our schedule into 3 parts or 3 terms for the year, and each term is 12 weeks. So we have now just finished our 24th week up of the school year. We are 2/3 of the way through school, y'all. I don't know, it's just going by so fast. So we have had a really good term. It encompassed the holidays for the most part, and then of course winter. We had snow days here in North Carolina. It's pretty wild, but it's just been an overall good term. I will say, and I'm sure you could tell from the thumbnail or the title, we did make one pretty major change though. And I think it might be shocking to y'all. I mean, I don't know, y'all leave it down in the comments. I'm not gonna leave you hanging. We're gonna talk about it first thing. I feel like it just makes the most sense to talk about the change because that kind of impacts some other things. But we made one pretty big change in our homeschool that I'm gonna talk about. I'm also gonna talk about obviously everything that went well, things that we decided to drop, which kind of are impacted by the change, and you'll know what I'm talking about in a second. But and then just things again that are just going really well. So you're gonna get all that in this video, so stay tuned. Okay, y'all, so talking about the big change first so we can get that out of the way and talk about everything else. The big change kind of requires a little bit of a story time. I'm going to keep it super short, I promise. I know I can be long-winded, but I'm really going to try and keep this down. So with my youngest daughter, Charlotte, who is in kindergarten, she is a 5-year-old. She'll be turning 6 this August, so she's on the younger end of the kindergarten age spectrum. We have been using Ordinary Parents Guide to Teaching Reading for phonics, accompanied with elemental phonics to kind of give her a little extra practice / give her a break from Ordinary Parents Guide to Teaching Reading because it's pretty intensive. It's a mastery style approach to phonics. It's pretty, I don't know what you call it, bland. It's a little bland, but I really like it. It is fully scripted. It hits all the phonetics and it gets the job done. And that's why I like it. However, I have always just kind of thought Charlotte was a reluctant reader because her attitude towards reading has been pretty rough. Although it's working and she's starting to read, she is still just, she doesn't enjoy it. And that kind of breaks my heart because reading is the gateway to all other learning. So what I did one day a few weeks ago, almost a month ago, I asked my neighbor, because she's got young kids around the same age and some younger ones than mine and a little bit older than mine. And I asked her, I was like, do you have any good readers that would work for her reading level? The problem with all these readers out there is they're like, hey, this is an entry level reader and it's got, pat, sat, cat, but then it goes all of a sudden, leisure will be a word. I'm like, how are they supposed to know that word? And if you know what I'm talking about, I've talked to many moms about it and they all agree. They're like, these readers say they're beginner readers, but then they have all these, okay, yes, the phonics, and then all of a sudden a random word that they like, what? That doesn't make sense based on what they should know at this age. The point being is that I reached out to her. I was like, do you have any legitimate actual readers that would work for her age level? I think she needs something to inspire her. I think she sees her sister reading and she's sitting here doing phonics, rudimentary phonics. And I think it's boring. And I think she needs something to kind of spice it up for her. Well, she said, yes, I've got tons that would be great for her age level. And she was right. These were great. So I ran over to her house. She let me borrow a few for the K level of the Good and the Beautiful, because they use the Good and the Beautiful for their language arts, their math, and a few other things. And so she had a whole library of them. She was like, here, take all of these. She can just use these for the rest of my semester because my daughter is in between her two daughters' grades. So we can just use them the rest of this year. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. And she also handed me the booster card set that comes with the language arts level. She's like, just look at it. It might be helpful for her to like blend the phonics and everything. I was like, no, this is great. Thank you. So we sit down, my daughter and I, Charlotte, as soon as I get back from her house, I just run back over and she is reading and she's like, this is fun. This is exciting. And then I showed her the booster card and then she started going through that. And lo and behold, I realized that maybe I was killing the joy of reading because I was trying to find something that was functional, but maybe not engaging for a 5-year-old. Ordinary Parent's Guide to Reading, I will never say a bad thing about it. However, I think because the lack of engagement, excitement, color, pictures, illustrations, all the fun stuff that you want as a child, I think that was just making her hate reading. So what I did was like, okay, I'm starting to see a fire spark in her. She's excited about reading. So I went ahead because the Good and the Beautiful provides free printables. You can print the language arts and the math for free if you're not familiar with this off their website. It's actually a really wonderful thing that they offer to homeschoolers. I printed off the first 10 lessons of the language arts level for K, kindergarten. And I was like, we're going to trial this for a few days, maybe a few weeks and see how you do. Within the first week, I could tell like it was a night and day difference with her. She would literally run around the corner and be like, hey mom, I'm going to go read because she gave me extra readers, not just the ones that come with the program, my neighbor. She's like, I'm going to go read one of my readers. I was like, okay. And so she was loving it. It's fun. It's exciting. It's engaging. And also it hits everything. I mean, it hits everything that you would need for language arts and more. And so I finally looked at her. I said, so we've done this now for a few days / weeks. Do you want to go back to Ordinary Parent's Guide to Reading? And she physically cringed. And I was like, oh no, okay. So I basically said, do you want to keep going with the Good and the Beautiful? And she said, yes. So I went ahead and printed off the full curriculum for language arts. I also printed off the booster card set because I have a whole binding machine. Rather than buying it, I just did this. And then I also, my friend actually, she's letting me borrow the readers that go along with it, plus all the extra readers that she had for level K that coincide with the reading level for this. And it has been, like, I want to cry tears of joy. It's been so good, y'all. And I don't know why. I kind of had this prejudice, I think, against the Good and Beautiful. I refused to really look hard at it because it's workbook based. And, I don't know, people are pretty divisive about the Good and the Beautiful. I think that's silly. I think if it works for you, great. Keep doing it. I cannot say enough good things about this program. And we've been doing this for almost a month now. It's not like I did it for a few days. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, we've been really doing it for a while, and it has been the best blessing in our homeschool. Oh my gosh, y'all. So we're going to stick with the good and the beautiful for language arts. And I'm sure that you know I'm about to say something else. Or if you haven't been watching my videos, you probably don't know. My oldest daughter, who does the McGuffey readers and the notebook that I print out for her, and that's been working great for her. She's like, Mommy, I want to try that. That looks like super fun. And I was like, oh boy. I was like, okay, listen, before we get crazy here, I'm going to print off a few lessons for you and we'll trial it as well for you and see how you like it. And then she, of course, absolutely loved it, engaged with it so well. And so I asked her, I said, do you want to keep doing this? Or do you want to keep doing the McGuffey readers? And she's like, well, I like the McGuffey readers, but I like this a lot more. And I was like, well, we cannot do both. We need to simplify in our homeschool. You'll know when I talk to you guys about my curriculum picks next, in the next couple weeks, that we are going the simplified route. I'll explain more in that video. But don't worry, we're still doing Ampleside Online. But I was like, listen, we gotta simplify it is the name of the game. I can't be doing all this FOMO. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing that. We've got to go lean. Are we doing, I looked at her, I said, are we doing the good and the beautiful language arts level 2, or are we doing McGuffey readers? And she looks at me and she goes, the good and the beautiful. So after we finish those couple lessons, I print off the whole entire course book for level 2. And because, again, all this is free, I also printed off her booster card set for C booster cards, and then also both of the readers. I only have one down here, I think. Yeah, Wesley and the Wolves is the first one you read, and then there's Molly and the Falcons is the second one you read for the program. And it is going so well, and I gotta tell you that although Emery is a very strong reader, I think some of the foundational things she was lacking. Now, I think if we had kept going with the McGuffey readers, those gaps would have been filled. But I don't have a crystal ball and I can't tell you if that's true, but I will tell you they are getting filled using this. I can honestly say that this has kind of taken a weight off my shoulders. The girls using both these language arts program, they're fast, they're quick, they're fun. I know they're getting everything covered because it goes over phonics, writing, reading, grammar and punctuation, spelling, and it has some literature in it, of course. Also geography and art. Now, we're not going to stop doing our art with Ampleside Online or our composer studies or any of the geography, but this is kind of just a nice little extra. And I like the spiral approach actually with this. I will say math, we're mastery-based people. We like mastery-based math. But I will say for language arts, I think we're kind of spiral review people. I kind of like it. And I think it keeps the kids' attention and it comes back quick enough where like it's really building upon itself. It's really well done, y'all. So if you've never give the good, the beautiful a look, please do. Because I mean, it's amazing. And the fact that you can print out the free lessons to try out before you even purchase anything, that's an amazing business model. Oh my gosh. Now you'll probably say, well, we're already halfway, more than halfway through the school year, and you're starting the kids back at the beginning of the level. Yes. One, because if you go on their website and you look at it, these are not, if your kid's in first grade, that does not mean they need to do level 1. Meet them where they're at. It might be kindergarten, the K level, or it might be level 2, right? So I'm not concerned about that. 2, I just didn't want to have any gaps, and I wanted to start at the beginning and make sure we covered everything because these do build on themselves, especially within the level. I wouldn't want to start halfway through the level because you'd be building on concepts at the beginning of the level. So I think that would be too messy. So yes, we have started at the beginning of the level, which means we may not get these done before next school year, and that's okay. We'll just, as soon as we're done with this, we'll move on to the next level for both girls, no matter whenever that happens. However, the program is written, I think, to be a 3 to 4 day a week program. We are doing 5 lessons a week. And I think based on my estimations and my scheduling, we should be done with this actually by the end of the year, or excuse me, by the end of the summer. So we might be right on track once we get to next year. And once we do hit, then I'll probably drop the language arts lessons to 3 to 4 times a week and then call it a day. But I don't know, were you guys surprised by that? Did you ever think I'd be using the good and the beautiful products? I don't know, let me know down in the comments. Was that surprising? I don't know, I feel like it probably was. It was surprising to me. One other thing that we have added on, which I think has been the best is Hoffman Academy. So the girls are doing piano lessons now. I'll link it down below. It's a free online lesson program for piano lessons. He does do paid lessons, which include a lot more. And honestly, I kind of wish we had taken advantage of the beginning of the year discount for an annual membership, because there is a lot if you do the premium version, but the free version is totally doing just great right now. Once he runs another discount though, my husband and I talked about it, we are going to pay for an annual membership to Hoffman Academy for both girls, and try and get that discount though to make it a little cheaper, because I think the products and everything that come out of it will be well worth it. There's extra practice pages that you can print out of music, sheet music. There are games to help the girls practice. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So right now we're not taking advantage of that because I want to wait for another discount to pop up. It might be until next year, and that's fine if that's the case, but piano is going really well. My grandfather got the girls a piano for Christmas, and they are just, I don't even have to ask them to practice it, because I'm trying to like say, hey, outside of your lesson, practice 2 to 3 times a week if you can. They're on it every day playing, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't even have to worry about asking you to practice. So piano obviously is something they're really enjoying, and I'm really glad we added it to our homeschool. So now that we've talked about major changes and additions to our homeschool over this last term, I want to talk about what's just been going well. You know, what are we enjoying? What have we been enjoying since the beginning? Because it's obviously, if we're still liking it now, it's a testament to how well it's doing in our homeschool. And then I'll end with, you know, what we had to drop or pause or any of that stuff, just so you guys know. Now, first, I want to talk about Spanish. Y'all, we are still loving Spanish 1. It is going so well. And you know what really made the difference for us too? Because not that we weren't enjoying it, but there was a point, I think in term 1 towards the end, that we were just kind of skipping Spanish some weeks, and it was just falling to the wayside. And what I changed was I made Spanish lessons, instead of doing 1 or 2 Spanish lessons that were 30, 45 minutes long each a week. I changed it to doing Spanish every day, but for only 10 minutes. I kind of took a leaf out of Charlotte Mason's shorter lessons, but everyday lessons. And now we are just doing all the lessons, and we're checking them off, and the girls are really speaking Spanish. We speak it during the day, outside of our lessons to each other. The activities are so engaging. I never thought my 5 and my 7-year-old would actually be speaking Spanish, like fluently, not fluently, like they're not, you know, conversational or anything, but like they actually understand it, they speak it, they can string words and sentences together. And I'm like, that's pretty amazing at this age. And I know at this age that's the best time to teach them language, because their brains are little sponges and they can absorb the different languages together. So I'm so glad we didn't wait to introduce Spanish. I'm so glad we went with homeschool languages. We have every intention of continuing forward with this program into next year and doing Spanish 2, which if you look at the packages, I'll leave a link down below for homeschool languages, but their Spanish 2 level looks even more exciting. It's got like all this fun stuff that comes with it, and the quality of the materials is amazing. Not enough things that I could say that are amazing about this. Just so much goodness in this program. So glad that we went forward with this, and so glad we're continuing with it. Something else that we really enjoyed this year that we did differently from our previous homeschool year was during December, we kind of did a December schooling. So essentially I paused all curriculum except for we did math and language arts every morning. But then what I did for the weeks of December is we introduced a unit study. I have a whole video on this, so I'm not going to go into major depth about this. I'll link it up above for you. But we did a literature unit study on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm a big Potterhead. I love all things Harry Potter, and my girls have definitely caught the Harry Potter bug along with me, and they are loving it too. There was so much goodness in this. I mean, there's so many activities that come from this that we had to pause all other curriculum, because this was a whole curriculum in and of itself. The creator had copy work, she had cooking, she had drawing activities. It's Waldorf inspired as well, so there was a main lesson page that we were doing every day after we read the books. There were videos. I mean, there's so much goodness in this. I'm not gonna go into depth. I said that, so I'm gonna just rely on you guys going to the video where I reviewed it and how much we loved it. We loved it so much that we will also be doing it every December until we finish all the books. And the creator of this curriculum, she rebranded. It's called Forest Rain Wanderer. I'll link her shop down below. She is already in the process of working on, she's almost done with 3, and she's started, actually, she even said, I think, started working on book 4. So as we do these one a year, she'll be coming out with them ahead of our schedule, so it'll be perfect. But she just, it's beautiful. She did such a great job with it. And I'm so grateful that there's something like this for my kiddos. On top of that, we also did one other unit. It was a blossom and root book seed called Sunbread, or based off the book Sunbread. I'll leave a picture of it here. I can't find it. I don't know what I do with my book seeds, y'all. I have too many books now. And we had a really good time with this book seed. It was all about the winter solstice. And, you know, we got to celebrate winter solstice. And I think I did a review on that as well. Yeah, I did. I'll link the video up above for the review video I did on that, but that went really well. So we had a really good Christmas schooling, December schooling, I don't know what you call it, time period. It was really fun. And it really set me up for like what I want to do every Christmas moving forward with the girls. Speaking of book seeds, we have completed 2 other book seeds this term because I added them in after the new year. We completed the Mary Anning one. I'll leave pictures here for you. You can see what book seeds they are, and I'll link them down below for you. And then we completed another one that was about echolocation. It's mapping, Marie Tharp mapping the ocean floor. I can't remember. That's right. I'll leave them all down linked below. We really enjoyed adding those into our school. I will say we are not continuing with any more book seeds because in an effort to simplify our homeschool and not be stressed and trying to do too much, I'm cutting out extras and unnecessary. So as much as I love the book seeds, I just can't fit them in and make it make sense where we're not stressed and doing, you know, I don't want to do 3 to 4 hours of school. At this age, I would prefer to do 2.5 at most. And in an effort to get to that, we have to slim down our curriculum picks. And so unfortunately, book seeds are not going to make it any further as much as I love them. What we might do instead is actually start doing them during the summer at random times like that, you know, because I still have all of them and I can do them at any time. And the way she writes them, you can make them extend up to an older age or work with a younger child on it because you can add in what you want, do the activities that you feel are appropriate for your kids. It's really customizable. So we're going to continue with book seeds at some point, just not for the rest of the school year, if that makes sense. And one last thing that I wanted to talk about, and if you've been with me since the first beginning of homeschooling, this might come as a shock to you, but what's going really well, and I have no intention of changing at any point here in the future, it's math. Math is actually going well, and I don't know what to say. I'm just so excited. My youngest daughter she's working her way through Math Mammoth 1A. She's about 3/4 of the way done with that. And then my second grader just finished up 2A, and she's about like 10% through the second half of this book, so she'll be right on track. She's the one that, you know, that we were trying to figure out what program worked best for her, and we're kind of struggling with that. And she was kind of not falling behind, but she was falling behind in the scheduled sense of staying on track with her grade level. I never thought I would say this, but we're definitely going to be on track for finishing this before the end of the school year. I never thought we'd get to this place. And you know what, on top of that, not just the fact that we're on schedule, she likes math. She gets it. She's actually like really good at mental math. She'll just do it in her head and be like, oh, I know the answer to that. And it's like big problems, like 3-digit, 2-digit, multiplication or subtraction and addition. And she'll do it. I'm sitting here thinking she's going to need scratch paper. She puts it out and I'm like, that's pretty impressive. So I used to think that maybe math just wasn't her thing. I think maybe we just didn't have the right math program, because I think math might be her thing. So that's really exciting to say. So again, I'll link down below how you can get to Math Mammoth. Maria Miller, the creator, I love that woman. Thank you so much. You're the reason that my kids aren't crying and screaming about math anymore. So not enough good things to say. Amazingness. Okay, last but not least, good things that I wanted to discuss with y'all. I asked my girls, I always kind of pull them at the end of the term, what's been their favorite book, and I tell them they can tell me it's one from this term or from the whole school year. And so the feedback from my girls was, my oldest, was that she really enjoyed Trumpet of the Swan, which I had never read before either. So that was kind of exciting to see that. And then she also said, which I don't have anymore, so I'll leave a picture here for you. The Year of the Dog was her other favorite, and by Grace Lynn, which I'm kind of excited about because I think we're going to do Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, or When the Moon Meets the Mountain. I might have just messed up that title. By Grace Lynn, we're going to do that for next school year. So I think she'll be excited about that. My youngest loved Stuart Little. Apparently we're an E.B. White family here because I love Charlotte's Web, so we all love an E.B. White book. I asked her why she liked it, and she's like, because I liked all the adventures. And then when Stuart Little fell down the drain and his mom had to fish him out of the bath drain, I was like, okay, well, that's definitely a kindergarten answer for you. But yeah, we've done some really good reading. At the end of the school year, I will do a full review on all the books that we have read, our opinions on them, and overall at the end of the year, which ones were my favorites or my kids' favorites and which ones were their least favorites, we'll say. Okay, now talking about what we've dropped or what we've paused, that kind of stuff, or like when I say pause, like we're going to come back to at a later date. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is one that we are going to finish through the end of this year, but I have made the final decision that we are not going to continue it into next year. It's an AO, Ambleside Online read for year 1, and I think it goes through year 2 and year 3. We're going to pause on this, and we're going to pick it back up in middle school. Parables from Nature. I think the stories are really good in here, and they have really good, solid, morals and values and fables type thing to them. The problem is, and I know this is meant to be a stretch book. Now, I have my second grader doing level 1 Ambleside Online right now. The thought of having my youngest daughter start these books that we're reading, or these stories that we're reading in here next year, a year younger than my oldest, it's not going to happen. Like, she's not going to understand it because my current second grader is struggling with these. I'm having to read a page and then ask her for a narration because she's younger, and I'm like, I know this is harder, so I'm like, okay, we're just gonna read a page first, tell me what happened. And she's like, I'm really having a hard time understanding what's happening. Like, the English is so older, and it's classical and the way it's written, and it's really tough for her. And I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes I'm like, hold on, give me a few pages to figure out what's going on too. So it's a stretch for me at points, and not saying I'm super intelligent or anything, but I'm like, if it's tough for me, it's going to be tough for my second grader. So what I've decided, and I talked to the girls about this and they agree, we're going to finish out the stories for year 1 schedule. I want to see how the rest of them go. But ultimately I've decided we're going to hold off on this. I'm going to keep it in my library. And then what we're going to do, because I do think they're very good, they're very valuable, there's really good morals in here. And the literature is beautiful, and it's very, it creates a beautiful image in your mind. I mean, it's just, I think it's too much of a stretch, and I don't want to waste my time and their frustration trying to read this. So we're going to wait, I think, till middle school to reintroduce it as a group read aloud. But I will finish the year 1 schedule with my second grader right now, and then hang the hat up for a little bit and then bring it back a few years later from now. So something else you guys probably know if you've followed my videos, we did drop All About Spelling with my oldest when we picked up the McGuffey readers, because she was doing really well with that kind of spelling approach, a more Charlotte Mason approach with the McGuffey readers. And All About Spelling, I think, was just too much for her because she is naturally inclined when it comes to language arts, reading, spelling, grammar, that kind of stuff. And I think she was getting frustrated with the overhandling, I think, of All About Spelling. I think All About Spelling is a fantastic program, though. I don't think it overhandles for every kid. It was just for her, she felt like it was overhandling for her ability. So we dropped that and just went straight with the McGuffey readers. And then, of course, a month ago, we then switched fully to The Good and the Beautiful. So we're not doing the McGuffey reading spelling anymore. I'm just using what's in The Good and the Beautiful and going from there. Also, because we switched over to The Good and the Beautiful, we also dropped first language lessons, grammar, because there's poetry memorization in The Good and the Beautiful. It's managing all of her grammar that she needs to know. We're already going over adjectives and things like that. So there's no reason to do both. As much as I love first language lessons, this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to simplify. The Good and the Beautiful has everything all in one for me to do, and I don't have to piecemeal these extra things. So I'm just going to get rid of everything else. So unfortunately, we dropped the first language lessons. I'm still holding on to it, though, because my youngest might want to do it later on. So, I think these are good curriculums. So I'm going to hang on to them in case we want to do them later. And then sadly, of course, my oldest did drop the McGuffey readers too, right? We couldn't do all of it. It was just too much. So the Good and the Beautiful all just combines that into one that I can just do in one fell swoop. And then for my youngest, because she's now doing the Good and the Beautiful level K, we dropped Ordinary Parents Guide to Teaching Reading and Elemental Phonics. I have yet to get rid of the books though. Again, I'm going to hold on to those just in case. But also I kind of like, I'm using the Ordinary Parents Guide to Teaching Reading as a phonics reference for me, because it has everything laid out in the contents beautifully where I can see this blend, and I can go and understand the, you know, the rule behind the phonics if I want to. Now, so far, the Good and the Beautiful has been explaining it very well where I understand it as a teacher and I can explain it back to my daughter too. But I just like having that extra reference guide. So I'm essentially keeping the Ordinary Parents Guide to Teaching Reading as a reference guide for me instead, not for my daughter to use. And like I said, we're just dropping all the excess, any add-ons that aren't really serving any purpose for us. For example, my youngest daughter, because I had purchased the Blossom and Root Level K Language Arts a long time ago, and then we ended up not using it, I did kind of print off all the copywork pages for her. So she was doing that on Fridays. I dropped that. There's no point in juggling or adding that extra piece to our plate. As I said, also, we stopped the book seeds. We're not doing those anymore. And then sadly, if you've been following along with my my Build Your Library Level 0 review videos, you know in my last one, I admitted cooking, the subject of cooking, as much as we'd love to cook, it's been a struggle to actually do the cooking. we don't find time in our day. It feels like it's something that I gotta check the box on, and then ultimately we'll end up getting takeout or something. Like when we were learning about Japan, I mentioned that I just went and got sushi. I didn't make it. So it's not that we're not incorporating dishes. Like we've got an Indian restaurant around the corner that is so good. So like we brought food over from there when we learned about India. So we are blessed to have really good cuisine and lots of variety in cuisine options around us, so I can just go get it. But so yeah, sadly, we put the cooking class global feast down. However, I'm going to keep the book because there are some actually really good recipes in here, and maybe we might try some of them at a later date when the girls are a little bit more, you know, a little older, more mature and more adventurous in their food tastes, because that's the whole reason I don't want to cook it. I don't want to cook something and put all that effort into it knowing full well that my kid's like, I'm not going to eat that. That's just a lot of pressure on me as a mom when, again, I'm telling you, our schedule just seems so full. I'm trying to pare it down. So cooking's out too. I'm sad about it, but I also feel a little bit of relief around it as well. All right, y'all, I think that is everything. I'm sure there's a few other things that I didn't touch upon. Again, if you are interested in entering my giveaway, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below how you found me. If you're not interested, still give it a like if you like the video. If you have questions about anything, leave those down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.